I mean, how fun was that game today? I mean, the whole fourth quarter's back and forth. The crowd seems to cheer one basket or the other. I mean, was that a little different usually than?
Yeah, it's just been here for 2 years now. It doesn't matter who's on that team, who's on this team. I think the energy is always going to be there. That's one thing about this rivalry. This is always going to be there, whether it's here or at MSG. You know, the fans are going to be cheering for their respective teams, and it's going to be a good game every time. And, you know, tonight we're just happy to come away with the win. We did things necessary down the stretch to come up with the win on the defensive end.
You know, Ashley and Nicole Moss, friend of the show, we wanted to get you on today. We didn't want to get you yesterday because we want to give you a day to cool off. And see, you're smiling right now. I'm sure that you were frowning yesterday after Julius Randle took 2 free throws and it was told that he was too strong. I'm sure you were just really not in the mood to discuss the other night's instant classic, Knicks Nets nail biter. But I'll go here because we talked about this with you before. The Knicks fans, as you know, took over Barclays. Is this brewing into an actual rivalry in New York City?
No, it's not. Here's the thing: for it to be a rivalry, there has to be a strong fan base on both ends of the spectrum, and it's not. Man. And that's just is what it is. Look, there are true Nets fans that have followed this team from the New Jersey Nets era, but they're a very small percentage. This is a brand new team, and yes, they've been in Brooklyn for a few years now, so it's not like a year in. It's been there for at least 10 years at this point, or going on 10 years. But New York is Knicks territory. It's just the case. And I think that especially in New York, let's not talk nationally, but if we're talking just in New York City, the Knicks still run that city. The Knicks still run that fan base when it comes to basketball. Now, if you want to go ahead and stretch that out, the Nets may have a stronger fan base when it comes nationally because they do have big names and fans of those guys have followed them to that team. So if you were a fan of James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, all the guys over there, you probably have followed them to that team and you're rooting for the Nets. But if we're just talking about New York City, the Knicks run it. That's why I'm wearing orange today. You see that?
I love it. But no, Ashley, I love it. No, there's no question, Ashley, that the Knicks own New York historically and you know, contemporarily. I guess my point, isn't it enough for the Nets to at least have y'all attention? You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna own the city, but it's a thing. It's somebody that even if it's annoying, it's still a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. You can kind of equate it to like the Subway Series when the Mets and the Yankees kind of play each other, although it's not that long standing, you know, in terms of New York sports culture, or the same thing with, you know, the Jets and the Giants. They have that kind of beef with each other. But I guess you can kind of relate it to that, although it's still relatively new. Do Knicks fans look forward to playing the Nets and vice versa? Yeah, because there's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot at stake in terms of bragging rights and things like that. So I guess from that standpoint, yeah, it's a rivalry. And I use that term very loosely.
Listen, Ashley, don't change. I can listen to you talk about this because don't change your answer. I love when you just you might as well, do this for me. You might as well call them the New Jersey Nets.
I do call them the New Jersey Nets. I do call them that. Yes. I absolutely call them that.
I love it. All right, so tell me this. It's not a rivalry yet. Maybe it will be one day. Brooklyn will never run New York City. Got that. Now, what's going on with the Knicks where Tom Thibodeau, I said to Mike the other day, he tried to be slick. Tom Thibodeau was like, well, we're going to take Kemba not only out of the starting lineup, we're going to take him out of the rotation. I'm like, dog, you could have taken him out of the lineup and kept him in rotation. You're essentially saying, I'm done with him. What is your interpretation of this demotion, this serious demotion, this almost relegation of Kemba Walker?
Well, first, let me say I'm a big Kemba Walker fan. You know, I love when hometown guys get to come back and play for their hometown team. And I definitely was looking forward to the homecoming and, you know, the revival of Kemba Walker. But it just hasn't worked out. You have a guy that you can't play on back-to-backs because he has issues with his knees, and that's a strike against him, right? But then also, Burks has been playing a lot better. His defense is a lot stronger than Kemba Walker. And then also, when you look at that second unit, you don't need three small guards. You have Emmanuel Quickly, who the Knicks are highly invested in. He is going to be a future part of this team for many, many seasons. Obviously, you have the veteran and Derrick Rose, who's always consistent. You know, you can always rely on him. So throwing Kemba in the mix, you run the risk of ruining that chemistry. You know, that second unit really plays well together. So it's kind of like you don't really have a space for him at this moment in time. And it's unfortunate. I don't think the Knicks are going to trade him, at least not right now. In order to trade a player, one, he has to have trade value, which I don't think Kemba has at this moment in time. And then two, there has to be another player on the radar that you want to trade him for. I don't think that that's the case with the Knicks either. So unfortunately, he's going to go ahead and have to take a Theo Penson, route, which Knicks fans know was just kind of, the cheerleader and the team guy and rooting on his guys and didn't get much playing time. That's going to be the role of Kemba, at least in this moment in time. There's always a chance that it changes. Things happen. Basketball is ever evolving, ever moving. The business of basketball is ever changing. But right now, it doesn't look like things are bright for Kemba, at least at this moment in time.
Do you have a wardrobe change plan? Because you're wearing your Knicks orange now. Or are you going silver? Blue and silver later on? Because the Cowboys on national television tonight.
I'm going to throw my Cowboys jersey over the orange so I can go ahead and have both teams covered for the night. This is a very stressful night for me. This can go very, very badly, Michael, very, very quickly. I'm really not looking forward to it. I don't like both my teams playing on the same night. My anxiety is not a fan.
Okay, what is your stress level specifically with the Cowboys, though? Because it feels like they've hit this rough patch, whether it's COVID, whether it's injuries or what have you. I mean, early in the year, you had us believing. I know you.
I was talking Super Bowl. You heard me.
I know you always riding with your boys, but what's concerning you most? Or do you feel like, hey, you know what? It's just a rough patch, and things will smooth out the rest of the way? Because so got the football team. Just so you know, your boy Holly over there. He got the Washington football team winning the damn division, just so you know.
Watch out.
I ain't trying to snitch. I'm just telling you.
Watch out. Y'all better win tonight.
For starters, he's wrong. So let's get that out of the way. I think for me, the Cowboys, it's simple mistakes. It's things like not running the ball and not relying on that offense in terms of running, and having Dak Prescott just constantly throwing the ball when you don't have to. It's, defense being very up and down. It's defense being on the field longer than they have to be and offense not getting the job done. It's simple mistakes. It's missed kicks or missed extra points. And it's things like that. It's bad play calling, bad time management. It's so many little things in the game. It's unnecessary penalties. Things like that make Cowboy fans nervous because those are things that you can avoid. Those are things that you're supposed to be able to do well with your eyes closed, especially when you have an offensive line like Dallas has, especially when you have the run power that Dallas has. And then obviously, the situation with Ezekiel Elliott, he's not well. I think Cowboys fans, football fans in general can see that as he was playing. He just does not look like the same, Zeke, the energetic, just in your face, the battering ram that you're accustomed to having. He looks, like there's something going on there. And again, whenever you have your quarterback throwing for over 400 yards and you're still losing games, that's concerning, and also you run the risk of making more mistakes, so it's going to be interesting to see, especially with head coach Mike McCarthy out for this game because of COVID. Yeah. Now, if the Dallas Cowboys play better without him than they do with him, that's a whole different conversation that we're going to have to have. So
it's possible. And it is possible.
I was joking. It is. I was joking a minute ago about snitching on Michael. Last thing before we let you go, I didn't know where you came down on a little mini controversy that exploded in Cowboys country this week about DeMonte Casey being exposed he got pulled over, unfortunately, inebriated, and he tried to name drop his way out of it, saying he had just finished hanging out with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Where'd you come down on Casey breaking the code under pressure?
Listen, snitches get stitches. You already know that. But here's the thing. It's a bad look because Dak Prescott is the leader of this team. And, he has a very clean-cut image and he's a team guy. And there was a situation, I believe, earlier in the season when one of the players was accused of, bribing a official, when it came to testing or something along those lines. And Dak said, look, I don't know anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. The code, the bro code. And for, especially a rookie to go ahead and name drop, not one, but 2 star players on the squad, and one of them being the face of the franchise, one of the faces of the NFL. It's just not cool. If you get pulled over, first of all, don't drink and drive. If you get pulled over, you get, caught up in something, don't name drop the homies. You just got to take it on the chest, and you're a grown man. You got to make better decisions for yourself. Nobody told you had to get in a car after drinking. That was a decision that you made. And you have to be a man about it and not try to drag down your guys with you. I just didn't like that. And again, don't drink and drive.
Not funny at all, but maybe the funniest thing. Yeah,
don't drink and drive. That's the number one message. But you see, I think y'all are being a little too hard on my man, because he's thinking, hey, I can get out of this. They ain't going to be snitches. If I mention Dak and I mention Zeke, they can get me out. They ain't going to go and tell everybody that this is what I did. So they broke the code too.
He did, outside of, again, making a dumb decision, he also didn't play his cards correctly, because the camera's on, bro. So, that footage was going to hit the social media world within seconds of you saying it. Now, if the camera wasn't on, you could have name dropped, and maybe you would have got away with it. But doing it this way, now you just look like you're out here dry snitching, and nobody likes a snitch.
Yeah. If you watch the video, he didn't know what he was saying. He was just making conversation, and the cop actually was intrigued by the events of his evening. The funniest part of it, though, I was about to say, might have not have been the name dropping, but he was like, "Yeah, I was with Atlanta last year, unfortunately." He threw a little shade to the Falcons as he was named.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I was with the Falcons.
Always catching strays.
Ashley Nicole Moss, keep up the great work on Sports Illustrated and for SNY with certified buckets, and we will see you again soon.
Low stress level tonight, Ashley. Low stress level.
I will try.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.